Real quick before I start, I want to say to everyone, happy holidays. Hope you have a great time. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you get everything that you wanted. Hope you have a great day with family, friends. Hope you have great food. Enjoy the day. So, now that I got that out of the way, let's start the video. 17 years. That's how long Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been hanging over gaming like a giant question mark. People joke it doesn't exist. People swear it's secretly cancelled. And yet, Ubisoft keeps leaving little fingerprints that say, yeah, we're still doing this. So today, let's run it down. What's confirmed, what's outdated, and what's still missing. For anyone new, the original Beyond Good and Evil came out in 2003 and built a cult following. The sequel was first announced way back in 2008, then disappeared for ages. Then got a big re-reveal at Ubisoft's E3 2017 show. And since then, we've had bursts of info and long stretches of silence. The big confirmed headline, it's a prequel. Ubisoft has reportedly described it as taking place before the original story, with a much bigger scope. Gameplay-wise, Ubisoft has described it as an action-adventure RPG where you can play solo or in co-op, moving through a star system that includes locations on the ground, in the sky, and out in orbit. Ubisoft's own E3 2018 write-up leaned hard on the idea of the scale and seamless travel, going from underground areas up into flight and then into space. And the most recent, still alive sign in late 2025 came from a Ubisoft job listing, which again described exploration and space piracy across the solar system with mysteries and play alone or with friends. So at minimum, the vision they keep repeating is space opera setting, open exploration across multiple locations, co-op supported, and prequel timeline. A huge part of the ambition comes from something Ubisoft talked about around the 2017-2018 reveals, a custom tech approach for building a star system associated with Ubisoft's Montpelier's work and the Voyager tooling mentioned in reporting. The idea was to support planets and space travel at multiple scales, mixing handcrafted design with systemic generation. That matters because it helps explain why the game has always sounded enormous, and why it's taken forever to materialize. Another confirmed piece, Ubisoft launched the Space Monkey program, partnering with Hit Record, where fans could submit art and music for potential inclusion in the game. Ubisoft framed it as a community collaboration and direct contribution. It also got criticism over the years, mostly around how community work gets used and credited. But the factual core is simple. Ubisoft did set up an official pipeline for community-created content. Now the messy part. The project's leadership and momentum have changed a lot. In 2022, Ubisoft published an official update confirming Michael Ansel, a major creative force tied to the franchise, was no longer part of the team. Ubisoft said he was stepping away from video game work. Then in 2022, reporting from Bloomberg said the project was still in pre-production at the time, despite years of work behind it. In 2023, the game's creative director Emile Morel passed away, which multiple outlets noted as another major hit to a project already struggling to get to the finish line. In 2024, industry reporting confirmed Owizi Mesmar joined as creative director at Ubisoft Montpellier. Hopefully I did not butcher any of those names. That's the timeline in plain terms. Big ambition, leadership transitions, internal disruptions, and then a major personal loss inside the team, followed by another leadership handover. In 2024, Ubisoft released Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition and advertised a new treasure hunt that reveals more about Jade's childhood and a narrative linked to Beyond Good and Evil 2. That doesn't give us a release date for the sequel, obviously, but it does show Ubisoft still wants the franchise in people's heads and they're planting story breadcrumbs. Here's what's still not locked down publicly. Release date? It's still TBA. Platforms, Ubisoft's old pages have listed PS4, Xbox One, PC for years. But that info is widely viewed as outdated because the project has dragged across multiple console generations without a firm reconfirmation. How co-op works? We know co-op is part of the plan, but we don't have modern details. What the final story structure is. Prequel is confirmed, but the exact plot, Jade's role, and the main character setup remain unclear in 2025 era official messaging. So yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still real enough that Ubisoft is hiring for it and still describing its core features in public job posts. But until we get fresh footage and a real launch plan, it's still the biggest I'll believe it when I'm holding the controller game in the industry.